to the party. So, just the doctor. I'm very gonna.
Every adventure comes with its own surprises, and our Brennet journey has been no exception. As we continue vlogging this experience, we've encountered challenges we never anticipated, some frustrating, others downright bizarre. From being locked out of the apartment without knowing they already changed the keys, think of any intense psychological distress you've been through. That's where we are right now.
You see, it's still blocked. Third round, we tried and we hoped that they would move the car, but they didn't. Still not. So we have to carry all that stuff all the way to the car right now.
In our last episode, you saw one of the strangest moments yet. The house fraud cut a hole in their curtain just to watch us all day long. The unsettling experience of being observed while trying to complete an already tricky task only added to the mental and emotional strain. However, despite these peculiar encounters, we remained focused on our primary goal, clearing out the machines and progressing with the space. With only a few days left, time was ticking, and there was no way for us to waste time, let alone have the time to figure out how to reorganize ourselves after we learned that the ex-famita or the landlord had changed the locks, so there was no way for us to enter our old apartment. So instead of taking our personal belongings first, we had to move the ones in the garage, which was accessible at the time. Imagine just the two of us moving things for days. The removal process was no easy feat. Many of the machines were incredibly heavy, requiring much effort to move them from one point to the other. Some of them were twice my weight and twice my size. While the garage wasn't far from where we were, the weight of the equipment, combined with the scorching midday sun, made the task exhausting. Each trip felt like a battle against fatigue, yet we were determined to get the job done. If they hadn't blocked the garage, we could have parked the car in front of the door, so we don't have to carry all the boxes of whatnot and more than a handful of machines. It could have saved us time and energy, but that's not what they want. Although they promised to help us resolve this problem in court, in front of the judge and the court personnel, including their attorney, they didn't. They didn't offer us anything, even months before this happened. Nothing happened when we had no car. There was no help and no text, even as simple as, "You still have your things here, do you need help?" or something like that. Nothing. All they ask, all they text us is, "When can we pay our debts?" That's it. There was no help at all. As if the physical labor wasn't challenging enough, we had to deal with another obstacle: the family's merciless, relentless efforts to block our way. She seemed intent on making an already difficult situation even more complicated. At first, they blocked the garage. Then the next day, they reparked, clearly trying to block the two garages so that we couldn't access the garage from that distance. From afar, it looked childish. But this was our reality. And that reality would come down to us in a blink if we provoked the commander in the family. And if we do provoke her, all we do expect is a police call. That's it. They're already so suki to the police to such an extent that once they even asked us, "When will this end?" With this unexpected situation, we had to experiment with their emotional volatility and see how it would all turn out. Obviously, we're left with no choice but to deal with their silly games. Oddly enough, this whole situation reminded me of my past, just like how I survived the childish games of those who caused me harm back in childhood. In my Substack article, I shared how I, as a highly sensitive person or HSP, overcome difficult situations like this. In the article, I mentioned how childhood abuse leaves deep scars that could reshape someone's life, identity, emotions, and perspective. The abuse might have impacted someone so much that it reshapes the person's DNA. If the victim figures out or finally acknowledges the issue, it might even take years to repair and recover. And for this episode, I want to talk more about this as part of who I am, which better explains why I chose to handle this situation, this challenging and nerve-wracking situation, with a centered mind and speak the words from the heart space. Because in the past, with a victim mindset, whenever I encountered situations like this, I always retreated into my cave, unwilling to fight and speak up and voice out my heart and soul. Instead of helping spread love, peace, and harmony with self and others, I once helped propagate evil by not doing anything and something and keeping my mouth shut, even if it's necessary. This time, I want to fight this differently. Despite my imperfections, my higher self can lead me to where I must be, even if my logic sometimes can't understand it. Even if I think I couldn't overcome it all, my soul knows where I can. My soul knows that I can. As long as I keep my center grounded, present, and with right intentions, nothing can stand in my way. Like I said in my previous video, you can never win against a Karen. And even if you feel like winning doesn't make you proud. It's exhausting to be with these kinds of people around you. No matter how you try to be civil and resolve even the most difficult things with self-assurance and professionalism under the canopy of the rule of law between parties, it won't work for these people. You don't need them in your daily life unless you want to get sick and die early. My husband and I don't want to end up like that. Because we're both sensitive, we're both emotional. Drama is not for us. So for me, as a highly sensitive person, I often internalized my pain more than most people. And blaming myself for my intense emotions was a common thing. Years of self-blame led to an eating disorder and self-harm as I struggled to cope with the overwhelming weight of my experiences. However, the turning point came when I saw the pain of my destruction, my self-destruction, caused my loved ones. When I came to Germany in 2019, I wasn't healthy or sound like most people believed. I wasn't prepared for the challenges ahead. Yet, I tried to survive and learn how to deal with the daily life bit by bit at my own pace. Despite the efforts, it wasn't deniable to me that living in Brennet was far from comfortable. We had a lot of problems here and there, from piping issues, from the poop coming out of the toilet bowl, to drops of water dripping over your ceiling light in the early morning. I mean, there's a lot to say, but it's just, well, out of respect, we just keep our mouth shut. But that doesn't mean to say that we just keep our mouth shut without fighting for justice. And not including the years of psychological distress the family had caused me personally. So in my journal entry dated March 10, 2021, I wrote, I tried. I did my best. I gave my all. I gave everything that I could. Yet, none of them truly gave me a sense of content to fill the void. That all I could do to avoid thinking of my lack and incapability to be truly happy and at peace. And sitting here with my typewriter is already a challenge. It forces me to reconcile with my thoughts, to face my fear of recalling those moments more often than not, the painful ones. Every single day feels like this. Every single day feel like how much I miss those times when I could get up early in the morning with vigor and filled with positivity. Days when I could only smile and think of nothing about how sad and terrible my day was. And the worst thing now is that I could not even remember those anymore. I couldn't remember how it was to wake up without being frightened or alarmed, as if someone is chasing me. Every single moment, I feel like I have to run for my life. I want to be inspired. Despite these experiences, I refuse to hold on to hatred. Instead, I developed resilience by understanding that my abusers were also wounded individuals. I may never have them accountable legally, not all of them, but at least I have no karmic debts. Despite the hostility, I was compassionate enough to show them the care I never received. I tried not to call names even in my rage. I tried not to slap a face. I tried not to lay a finger on anyone. I tried not to mind their presence too much, though I could feel their eyes on me when we worked in the garage. This mindset allowed me to persevere through the darkest moments of my childhood and emerge stronger, and now as an adult it became beneficial. One of the most profound lessons I learned was the power of kindness. Instead of seeking revenge against those who have harmed me in any way, I chose to care for them when they needed me. Only by breaking the cycle of hostility can I create the ripple effect of healing within my family. Only when I can keep myself grounded, despite the seemingly tragic flow of life, will I be able to keep moving forward like water, flowing endlessly through space and time. My journey from victim to warrior was not easy. It took me years to acknowledge my self-sabotage, and it took me another set of years to develop resilience and form some foundation, a stable foundation for growth and for the future's abundance that I deserve. These situations, like the ones we're in right now, is a test, are a series of tests, whether I will break or make. If this test will make me or break me. It helps me cultivate self-awareness and consciously choose kindness over hate. And by doing this consistently, I will grow, I will expand. As a person, as a daughter, as a wife, as a sister, as a neighbor. Because if I cling to the negative side of things all the time, I would be like this family, having fun bullying people who had nothing, while thinking they could do all that because they have a lot. They have money, and we don't. They believe they have the power more than the police and the law, and we're damned. No one's listening to us. If that's how it is, then let them be. It's none of our concern. The pain of my past no longer defines me. Instead, it has become a source of strength and wisdom. And I hope that by sharing my story, others who have suffered abuse and may find the courage to heal and rewrite their narratives, especially when dealing with difficult people and challenging situations that test you and push you to the limits. And sometimes these situations can even push you to the edge of the cliff and you're left hanging without no one or any support at all. And without any form of support at all from anybody, from your family, from friends, from government, wherever. I know life hasn't been easy for you, and you think tomorrow will just be another struggle for you. And you think today is struggle and tomorrow is another struggle, so there's no sense in life. So there's no sense in life anymore. And whatever you're dealing with right now may not be as great as you'd hope. But that doesn't mean you push away kindness and allow your feelings to rule over facts, messing up your life with your biases over the law. When you choose to hate over love, when you choose to be greedy when you give, when you're supposed to give, just because you were hurt before or you were a victim doesn't mean that you could cause harm, or that doesn't give you any right to paralyze one's life. Again, just because you were hurt before, because they couldn't pay the rent on time, doesn't give you any right to paralyze one's life. True transcendence lies in understanding that even the smallest act of kindness can dismantle the strongest walls of suffering, paving the way for a brighter future. Sure, when you know you're doing something right and you're living your life based on the truth, you'll likely gain haters. Those who see you as a trigger, a toy they could play with and laugh at any time. They see you walking under the sun, dragging heavy big machines while they stay cool in their Mercedes. Let them be. Let them laugh at you. Let them mock you for looking so stupid. As long as you know you haven't stepped on someone's shoes, as long as you're not hurting others or you're not violating any law, let them meet karma and pay the price. The whole situation tested me so much that I never thought I could even go back there without feeling any chest pain at all, without having to prepare myself mentally to ease my anxiety, to ease all these nerves and the tingles and sensations that I feel, these uncomfortable feelings that I have every time you have to go there. And to think about it, this is not even the end of it, because we still have to go back until everything is empty. And for this particular day, for example, was the most prolonged and the most stressful of them all. We started around 11 a.m. and didn't return home until 7 p.m. By then, exhaustion had overtaken us. The mere thought of moving from the couch felt unbearable. Instead, we surrendered to the fatigue, spending the rest of the night simply resting, unwinding, and eventually sleeping. However, for me personally, the biggest frustration of the day wasn't even the heavy lifting or the scorching heat. It was the fact that we could still not retrieve our personal belongings. None of the ex-landlord's family members were willing to open the door to let us in. We had hoped to finally resolve this matter, but we were met with resistance instead. The uncertainty of when we could access our things added another layer of stress to an already draining experience. Despite all these setbacks, we remain determined to see this journey through. We may be exhausted, but our resilience keeps us going. Each challenge we face only strengthens our resolve, making this journey not just about clearing out a space, but about perseverance, patience, and the ability to adapt in the face of unexpected trials. Besides, our new place has offered us a new beginning, a new chapter to tackle through the end. We will never know what's ahead of us, but at least, for both of us, we can finally close this book and move on. And moving the remaining of our things was the first step, yet, honestly, it was the most difficult one. We have had enough of this darkness, hopelessness, and powerlessness. It's time for us to look ahead and create new memories together. It's time for us to find reasons to smile and feel the thrill and excitement of the next chapter's adventure. Something we could look forward to, And whatever they would be, I strongly believe that we can manage. I hope that whatever challenges and obstacles you're facing right now, you can overcome them with grace and ease. I know it won't be easy. I'm not saying that it won't be really difficult for you, but don't you ever quit. Even if things seem impossible, even if you think your enemy is bigger than you, even if you think no one's listening to you, just keep talking, and maybe someday, someone out there will listen. The world is so big, Earth is so big and massive for us to think little. Always remember that no matter what life throws at you, you are part of the universe, and the universe is you. So never lose your smile, never lose that zest for life, with love, peace, and harmony with self and others. If you like to read my Substack article, the link is in the description. You can also check out my published works and pre-order my upcoming book, Strokes of Desire, #1, which is available this coming December 31 across bookstores worldwide. That's all for today, and thank you for spending your time with me, and I hope my story resonates with you. If so, let me know in the comment section below, and see you in the next one. Tschüss! Bright shining as the sun, with no less days to see God's grace than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I found. Was blind,